it's hard for me to put a timeline on it, but this isn't going to be immediate by in any sense. But as we move forward, as I said yesterday, we're going to continue to consider all the elements on the ground, including human rights. And I did talk about yesterday. We're awaiting the findings of the Bahraini Independent Commission of Inquiry that's due out, I think, on October 30th. And so, we'll look at that. We'll weigh those findings, and we're going to continue to look at human rights as we move forward. So we've passed one phase. There's more to this process than congressional notification. As we move forward for these items, which, as I said, are for the external defense of Bahrain, we're going to continue to assess the human rights situation.
Is there concern that the United States has supported pro-democracy movements in the Middle East, but in this case, the weapons could be used, or have been in the past even used, against pro-democracy protesters in the Kingdom of Bahrain?
I'm sorry, you're talking about these types of. I mean, obviously, this sale hasn't gone through, and any sale of weapons that are, again, I must underscore, are for external defense purposes, would also have end-use monitoring elements to it. So we always, whenever we conduct a sale of defense articles, we always have an end-use monitoring where we ensure that these items are being used for what they were intended to be used for.
Okay, but I just...
Yeah, Ilhan. Okay, great. That's okay. Stay on Bahrain.
I mean, Bahrain's use of weapons and military action was only used against its people. So how would you guarantee that these weapons, would be used only in the defense of Bahrain? I mean, after all, the U.S. Fifth Fleet is out there to protect Bahrain. I don't think it's threatened by foreign adversaries, at least not in the short run. So these weapons so far have been used against the people. So what kind of guarantees do you have?
We'll say, again, let me just underscore that this is not a done deal, as they say. There's other steps to this process. And certainly human rights will be under consideration, under review throughout the process. But we also support Bahrain's right to defend itself and to seek to defend itself. And as I just said, whenever we conduct these kinds of sales, whether they be to Bahrain or elsewhere in the world, we always include an end-use monitoring component that allows us to see if these are being used for the purpose for which they were intended.
Okay, just to understand the technical aspects of this thing. Now, these the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, I think they have some sort of a defense pact. So,
correct.
Okay. So how does that work into all these countries? Does that have to be sort of coordinated with all of them, one at a time? If it's used in defense, do they have to coordinate with all these countries?
That's really a question that you'll have to pose to the Bahraini government. They've come to us for these defense articles, but it's not for us to coordinate within the GCC. That's for them to do so.
Okay, I guess my question would be, so if it would be okay from the U.S. point of view if these weapons fall, let's say, in the hands of the Kuwaitis or the hands of the Qataris or the hands of the Emirates, correct?
Look, I'm not aware of any sharing agreement that they might have for defense articles. Again, any weaponry that or any defense articles that we sold to any country would be, as I said, subject to end-use monitoring. Yeah, go ahead.
If Congress doesn't block the sale, when would the transfer happen, hypothetically? Like, what is the time frame we're looking at?
Yeah, and it's a fair question. It's hard for me really to put a firm date on it. As I said, there's procedural steps that need to be taken. It's a matter of months, not days or weeks.
What happens with your end-use monitoring if you determine that the weapons are not being used for what you thought they were? You ask them to return them and you give a refund, or you call them out on it, or what?
It's a fair question. I think it's a question that Touria, in fact, took last week about what are the consequences or repercussions. I'll try to find out a more detailed answer for you. What's actually entailed when we do find that there have been unintended uses.
Turkey. Thank you.
Bahrain,
Let's stay on Bahrain.
Are the Bahrainis putting on the table the threat they feel coming from Iran to try to convince you to close the deal on this arms sale?
I'm sorry, you're talking about the Bahraini government?
Yes.
In terms of, look, first of all, I'm not going to talk about what our private diplomatic exchanges may be with the Bahraini government. They have a right to defend themselves, though, from external threats, and they're seeking to do so through this sale to give their military additional capabilities. As I said, we're moving forward in a very deliberate fashion to ensure that these articles are in fact used for what they're intended to be used for. Yeah, Turkey, and then I'll go.
Today in southeast of Turkey, there was a terror attack, and according to latest numbers, 24 Turkish soldiers got killed and wounded. What's your reaction to that, first of all?
Well, you saw the White House statement, the statement from the president that strongly condemned this morning's outrageous terrorist attack against Turkey. We stand in solidarity with the Turkish people and condemn in the strongest possible terms these attacks in Turkey's Hakkari province. They demonstrate a disturbing uptick in violence comparable to the level of the 1990s. And again, we express our deepest condolences, and we stand with our NATO ally Turkey in its fight against the PKK, and in solidarity with Turkish people.
President Obama also wants to cooperate with Turkey. Is there any specific steps that the U.S. government get ready to do?
Well, as you know, we've cooperated in the past on counterterrorism against the PKK. We do condemn them as a terrorist organization and demand that they cease their terrorist activities, and we're going to continue to cooperate with Turkey in combating the scourge of the PKK.
Do you think you are going to?
I don't have anything concrete to point to, but that our existing cooperation will certainly continue.
Turkish government has been seeking to get some drones and other new arms to fight against PKK. Do you think?
I don't have anything on that for you.
In the past, Turkey has pursued the PKK into Iraqi Kurdistan territory and other places. Would you support Turkey if it conducts such operations?
Well, I think we look to both Turkish and Iraqi authorities to cooperate and coordinate and work together to combat the PKK. They certainly have a shared interest. We encourage always Iraq's neighbors to respect its sovereignty by cooperating closely with the government of Iraq in combating these terrorist groups that operate along the border region. And indeed, these are a common enemy to both Turkey and Iraq.
Is it to the best of your knowledge, there is no, let's say, safe haven for the PKK in any Syrian territory, is there?
In any Syrian?
Syrian territory?
I'm sorry. Look, as I said, we're going to continue to work with Turkey to combat the PKK. I don't know about safe havens in Syria, but we're certainly going to try to increase our counterterrorism cooperation to go after the PKK.
Was there any call made from here to Turkey in raising this issue?
Not yet. No. Not that I'm aware of. No.
One more question. Even though U.S. government has been helping in terms of intelligence, that's the public statements we know since 2009. There is this anti-American sentiment in Turkey again today as well. Have you anti-American sentiment over this new terror attack? Some argue that still it's some kind of link between these attacks and the U.S. presence in Iraq. How do you explain to these differing opinions, and it is growing actually?
How do you speak to that? Look, I can't be any clearer, Ilhan, that we view the PKK as a terrorist organization, as an enemy of both the U.S. and Turkey, and we've been cooperating, as you said, for many years now in combating them.
Mr. Toner, on Colombia?
Let's go back and.
Just to clarify, you don't
I'm
have
sorry.
any, yeah,
Forgot you,
you don't have any update on